I'll be sharing with you this morning on what I titled the oil of God. The oil of God. The oil of God is one of the treasures of God. Among other treasures of God that are exclusive and classified is the wisdom of God, the creativity of God, the productivity of God. They are all inclusive in this class and many others. The oil of God is not only meant for the fivefold ministries. Ephesians 4:11, it says, and he gave gifts unto men, to some be made to become apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers. But you must understand that this oil of God is made available unto all who are indeed connected to God. It is made available to those in politics. We need the oil of God in politics. David ruled by the oil of God. We need the oil of God in the marketplace. Job ruled in the marketplace by the oil of God. It's also needed in media and entertainment. We also need the oil of God in schools, in families, and all of that. Also, you must understand that the oil of God is for the following purposes, because when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. Number one is for distinction. The oil of God is for distinction. It is an authorization for us to operate fully in what God has uniquely called us to do in life. Acts chapter 13 verse 2, and why the disciples were ministering unto the Lord God spake and said by the Spirit of God, he says, separate me, Paul, from Barnabas to the assignment I have called them to do. In 1 Samuel chapter 10 and verse 1, he said, and Samuel said to Saul, as the Lord, is not because the Lord God has anointed thee to be captain over his inheritance. So the oil is for distinction, for the assignment in which God has called us to do and to engage in. This comes with both liberty and restrictions. Listen carefully. When God releases his oil on your life, it comes with both liberty and restrictions. He said liberty of operation in your calling and restrictions from the way of life that doesn't align with such assignments. 2 Corinthians 3:17, he said, for wherever the Spirit of the Lord God is, there's liberty. So there's liberty in that operation, which is the authorization, but there's also restriction that you can't live anyhow. You can't live the way others are living. You can't go where others are going to. There is a pathway assigned for you. Now, number two, purpose for the oil of God is exemption. Psalm 105, 13-15. He said, when they went from one kingdom to another, from one nation to another, he suffered no man to do them wrong. He said, yea, he reproved kings for their sake, saying, touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm. The oil of God brings about exemption. He said, come not nigh the one that has the mark. So when you have the oil of God, you have been marked for exemption. That is to say, what afflicts others, where others suffer in their numbers, you are exempted from such. Number three, purpose of the oil of God is destruction. The oil of God brings about total termination of yoke, burden, bondages, and ungodly entanglements. Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 27. He said, indeed, it shall come to pass on that day that the burden shall be taken from off thy shoulder, the yoke from off thy neck, and the yoke shall be destroyed. Number four, purpose of the oil of God is for direction. You need the oil to direct you, which is the Spirit of God. Wherever you hear the word oil, it talks about the Spirit of God. Now, this direction, it opens us up to the pathways of God. Every man has a path in life, and for you to discover your path, you must have the oil to discover your path and to also receive engracement to walk on your path. The Bible said in Psalms 119, it said, the word of the Lord is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. One of the things that powers lamps is oil. Psalm 119, 105. He said in verse 130, the entrance of thy word giveth light. It supplieth not just light, but oil. Romans 8:17, he said to us, many that are led by the oil, the Spirit of God, they are called the sons of God. Luke 4:1, and Jesus, full of the oil, which is the Spirit of God, was driven, directed into the wilderness for his destiny to be sharpened and for giftings and unctions to be indeed impacted. Now, lastly, I share with you today is number fifth purpose of the oil is for operations of signs and wonders. When you have the oil, you have been legalized, licensed, and authorized to operate in the miraculous. Matthew 10:1, he said, and he called forth his 12 and gave them power, oil, against all unclean spirit, to cast them out and to heal all manner of sickness and disease. Mark 16:16-18, he said, and these signs shall follow them that believes in my name, they shall cast out devils. I pray for you this morning that from today you begin to enjoy the oil of God.